You got us? Okay, perfect. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for waiting for just a bit. We appreciate you hanging out there in the waiting room while we've wrapped up with Denny. We're going to go ahead and just take questions for Erik. So we already have several in the queue, so we're going to get started. We're going to take our first question from Jordan Bianchi. Jordan, go ahead.
Thanks. Erik, I have two questions for you. One, how would you assess your season so far? It seems like you guys have had speed most weeks, but maybe not the finishes to correspond with that. So how would you assess it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a tough question. I think we've been pretty fast every week. I can't think of a race maybe other than Martinsville where we didn't have good speed. And, it's unfortunate we haven't finished as good as we've ran, I think, at some races. But, I think that's going to come around. You can't have things go wrong every single week, So it was a good day today. The Craftsman camera was pretty quick. And, it was good to get a good finish. But I don't know. I wish we would get some more finishes, but I feel like we're moving in the right direction.
And second question is about next year. Where are you at in negotiations with Toyota, Joe Gibbs Racing, and do you feel like you'll be back with the team for 2021?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a good, I guess, what is it, my third, fourth year at JGR now, something like that. So, we started talking to him about next year and what we're going to do moving forward. So, I feel like right now that's kind of the plan is working with them. So we'll see what happens, but I feel good about it right now moving forward.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Daryl Kinsey. Daryl, go ahead.
Erik, how does it feel to get third today after Saturday's race didn't end the way you had wanted it to?
Yeah, that feels good. It's a good rebound. I mean, we needed a good run. I mean, we needed a good rebound. It's great that we finished third. In a way, it's kind of frustrating. I think our primary car was quite a bit better than what our backup car was today. But obviously, third is a good run. So nice to rebound and hopefully just keep the momentum going next week and Indy and keep running strong. Like we talked about there, I feel like we've had good speed. We just haven't been able to show it. We either get run over every week or we have a penalty or something else happen to us. So it's nice just to have a normal race. I mean, I think on a normal weekend we can run top five pretty easily, and I think we showed that today.
And we heard of some radio traffic that some drivers felt that the traction compound had been worn out by the time you guys had got on the speedway. What did you feel when you were on the track?
It wasn't as good as it was yesterday for sure. I thought yesterday, you could really get up there and make some good time, really in any corner almost, but it definitely got worn out more in three a lot. I think a lot of guys were running that as their preferred groove in turn three because the PJ1 was put so low. In turn one, you could still get up there and run. I passed some people up top in one, but three, it was definitely worn out.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we are going to take our next question from Luis Torres. Go ahead.
Speaking of getting that best finish of the season, how encouraging is it to get that run knowing that you just had strong cars but needed the consistency and also putting yourself back into that top 16 with Reddick having his problems?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. We feel like we should definitely make the playoffs. We've done that the last few years now, and I don't see this year as any different. So, it's nice to have a solid run. Like I said, it seems like something always has went wrong for us the last few weeks. So, just nice to have a clean day. There was one mistake we had all day. We had a loose wheel, and it ended up not really affecting us too much, which was good. Hopefully we can just keep doing that moving forward. We got good racetracks coming up for us, places we've ran really well at in the past. So, I think we're going to keep racking up some good finishes here. And hopefully, go up and get a win here pretty soon.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Chris Knight. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Erik, nice job today. I was just wondering your thoughts on going to Indianapolis next week. It's either been feast or famine for you there. And do you enjoy running at Indianapolis?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I think, we ran really well there a couple of years ago, running second, and then last year got in a wreck, and I think 17 we got in a wreck. So, it's definitely been on or off. I feel like all years we've been fast and just haven't kind of had things work out for us. So, hopefully it's just another clean race. I think the speed will be there. Not having practice really hasn't seemed to hurt us a whole lot. So hopefully we can just kind of go out and do the same thing we did today. And if we can do that, get a good draw for a start, I feel like we'll be up front, definitely in the top five and hopefully contend for a win.
Hey, thanks, Erik.
Yep.
Okay, next question is going to be from Mark Garrow with PRN. Mark, go ahead.
Erik, do you see yourself being able to kind of separate yourself now from that 16th position and not stay in that kind of that dogfight for the final spot or two? Do you see yourself able to distance yourself from that?
Yeah, I would hope so. I think our cars are way faster than a 16th place team. So, hopefully we can just keep up the good runs. We just need, 3-4 more races just running strong like we need to, getting some stage points, and, we'll be up in the top 12 pretty quickly. I mean, 3 weeks ago, we were fighting for 12 of the points, trying to just get into that better draw, and then all of a sudden we had multiple bad races. So, it happens, and it was some things that were in our control, some things that weren't. And, hopefully today, if we can run like this more and more, I think that, the points come along right with that.
A moment ago, they talked about the IndyCar, NASCAR doubleheader next week. Would you ever have any interest in driving an IndyCar? Would you at least like to practice one?
Yeah, I mean, I think any driver would love to drive any kind of, form of race car. And I've had some opportunities to drive some other forms of race cars, and it's been pretty neat. And, an IndyCar would be really unique, really different from anything I've ever raced. So, yeah, I mean, I think the Indy 500 is on most racers' bucket lists at some point in their career. But I would definitely take the opportunity to drive an IndyCar, whether it just be a test or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay, our next question has come from Zach with the Pocono Record. Zach, go ahead.
Erik, Pocono's been a really good track for you in the Cup Series, really since your rookie year. What is it about this place that either suits your style or that you just have found to really work for you?
I think, just been good here. And a lot of things I've ran here kind of always an arc of cars. I ran here a long time ago, 7 years ago. I mean, we were fast, contended for wins there. Trucks, we contended for wins. Xfinity, we should have won a race here, I feel like, definitely in 16. And then Cup was the same way. So just always been a place I've been fast. I think there's a lot of things that I kind of know how to do here that make a lot of speed. And it's just a place where you have to carry a lot of momentum and really focus on how you're going to get on the straightaway and carry a lot of speed. So that kind of falls into things that, I really focus on and feel like I'm good at as a driver. And it's really helped me at Pocono over the last few years I've raced here.
With this, having less horsepower this year and last year than you had your first couple seasons, and how important the momentum is now, do you feel like that's actually been a benefit for you?
I don't know. I don't know that we've ran any better or worse with, this rules package than what we did with the old one. I feel like we were similar here with the other rules package. So I don't know if it's changed it a lot. It's definitely changed the driving style. We don't shift anymore and carry a lot more speed on entry and through the center of the corners. But, I don't know that it's really affected how we ran here too much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Jeff with Empire Sports. Go ahead.
Hey, Erik, congrats on the great run today. Could you take us, please, through the mindset of someone who is on the cusp of the playoff picture? Basically, do you guys take a look at the standings at this point of the year? Does it affect your strategy at all? Could you take us through that mindset?
No, I mean, not really. I don't look at it. I mean, I think we're so much better than that it doesn't really even play into my mind. I know if we just kind of do what we need to do, I mean, things will kind of work out. It's not really even a question in my mind at this point, making the playoffs or not. So, I feel like we'll be strong enough here to get a win at a race here in the next month or two somewhere. So I don't think that's really in my mind. We've just got a good enough car and a good enough team, and we just got to clean some things up and, have some things go our way. I don't really believe in luck that much, but, you keep chugging along and things will kind of go your way eventually. So, I don't really look at it too much. If we really got down to it, where we were in a bad spot, I mean, for sure I'd look at it. But at this point, I'm not really thinking about it much.
Some great strategy from you and Chris today. How great has it been to have Chris by your side throughout this process? Your crew chief for 4 seasons thus far, and hopefully counting, of course. So how great has it been to have Chris on your side?
Yeah, Chris has done a good job. I think he gets better each year, and he understands, what I need out of a race car and understands my feedback and things that I want, things that I do. He's always been really good on strategy and getting these races to play out the way we need them to. So he had a good plan coming into today and really explained it to me, and I trusted him from the start. And, the race kind of played out the way that we needed it to. So that was great. And, Chris has always done a good job with that, especially here, at Pocono, where, strategy really is a big deal. So it's definitely been nice to have him on the box.
Thanks, Eric. Good job today.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to take our next question, or I should say we're going to fit in two more real fast. Dustin Long, go ahead with your question, and then Jenna will end with you.
Thanks. Eric, in such strategy races like this weekend, and also I presume like next weekend at Indianapolis, how involved are you in that? How easy is it to keep up with that? Or is this an easy type of weekend where it's almost like shut up and drive and just let the crew chief handle it? How do you kind of look at how involved do you want to be or want to know everything when there's all these different pit strategies going on?
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep informed pretty well what we're doing. I don't want to totally go in blind and be hit with some random stuff during the race. So, Chris always does a good job of explaining what his thoughts are for different situations and always gives me a few scenarios of how things could play out and what we would do if those things happened. And that's kind of how I try to say. I don't try to get too deep into it. I don't really want to have that on, the front of my mind. I think that's Chris's job as a crew chief, is to really call that race. But I do like to keep kind of a basic outline of what our plans are for the day of just kind of how things would work out if certain situations came about, at least so you're not blindsided when you get in a certain spot.
I know you talked a while ago about in the past about how when the series came back, it might be it's so weird when you won a race just because there wasn't anybody there. To win a race at Indianapolis and for there not to be anybody there, but 240,000 empty seats. For as remarkable or as great an accomplishment as that would be, what would that be like to have nobody there?
Well, I think you'd still be awfully excited. Winning at Indy is a pretty cool thing, but it'd definitely be weird. Obviously, the Brickyard, kissing the bricks with the team. Don't think that's probably going to happen this year for the winner. It is a pretty cool thing and something that's always really special. And the victory lane there and the celebration is really special with your team and with the fans as well. So that's going to be a unique one. Any marquee race that you win and you don't have the fans there, I think stings a little bit more, than a normal race weekend here at Pocono. Obviously, we miss the fans, but those marquee races, you really miss the traditions of celebrating with the fans and with the team, the things that you really look forward to as a race winner.
Thank you.
All right, Jenna, go ahead and close us out.
Hey, Eric, you were not impressed with the Xfinity Series race today. What needs to change there, and can they get it done before next week when they go debut on a road course at Indianapolis?
I should probably be pretty careful here. The Xfinity Series is in kind of a weird spot right now. You've got a lot of young guys in there and some very talented guys. Don't get me wrong. I really think some of the guys that are in there right now have a lot of talent and are very capable, but definitely some of the guys, I think could click it down a notch. I watch on TV each and every week, and it's like, man, some of those guys are so fast, and some of the things they do sometimes, it just kind of blows your mind. And the way I grew up racing, hooking somebody on the straightaway is pretty out there, and I don't think you'd want to face the repercussions of what would happen, coming into the pits after you had to do something like that. So just kind of a lack of respect. I think, like I said, I grew up with a lot of respect in racing and respect for my equipment and my competitors. I don't like to tear up equipment. I don't really believe in intentionally wrecking people. I think that's pretty low. I think that's just low class. Doesn't really belong in our sport. That's Saturday night short track Mickey Mouse stuff. It's just not how it should be. So I just don't like to see it. It bums me out to see that in racing. And, hopefully they all kind of learn from it. They're not going to do that every week. They're going to talk. NASCAR's going to talk with those guys and tell them, that's not going to fly here. So hopefully they can, kind of learn from that for next weekend at Indy.
Great. Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
All right, Eric, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on your third place finish, and we wish you the best of luck next week in Indy.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.